Day 56, June 5th, 2019. The verse of the day: let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need. Hebrews 4:16. One of the many gifts that God gives to his people is the gift of prophecy. My parents had a prophetic dream, both of them individually, about me being pulled over by law enforcement in Indiana. Well, today, their prophecy was revealed. However, the outcome in which they thought turned out to be just a little bit different. God's internal voice helped me today. Today, as I was walking and approaching a car that had just been pulled over by a state police officer, and as I walked past, I felt the internal voice tell me that the police officer, law enforcement, will not give this person a ticket. However, they will potentially come and find me. So as I walked up towards the car, the person that pulled over had their window down, but as I was walking up, they wound their window up. I think they saw maybe my GoPro was on my chest and didn't want to be on camera. And then right after that, the police car was right behind them, yet I didn't think he actually saw me as he was busy in his terminal looking up the person they had just pulled over. I get about 200 yards past this vehicle, the police vehicle, and next thing you know, I hear someone yell, "Excuse me." And I turn around, and lo and behold, it's the police officer who had actually sped back past, back to me, and let the person he pulled over go. So he didn't give the guy a ticket. Now, the officer named Fowler, who actually approached me, had actually just said that he was, wondering if I needed a ride or maybe I needed something to drink, because he noticed that I was walking. And then he began to, ask for my ID. Now, in most cases, people say there's no reason for him to ask for my ID since I wasn't actually doing any traffic violations and I'm walking on a legal road across America that I should be able to walk on. However, why he pulled me over, well, we're going to get down to the intent of that. Now, my parents would have thought that it would have been something prejudice or just because of the issues that have gone amok around the United States and everybody's households today. However, God directed me a little bit differently. See, one thing that I had realized long ago is my father had taught me that it's always going to be the energy that I give to other people. That's why I presented my ID to the law enforcement officer. He's here to do his job. Now, sometimes people may go above and beyond their call of duties. This particular officer, Officer Fowler, was. He was concerned about his neighborhood and the people that he grew up with. If I had saw somebody walking with a backpack that had no camping gear on them, and I know that there's empty houses and vacant houses in the area, and I know that the opiate crisis, because I get to see and respond to things that are happening nonstop, and I get to see the hypodermic needles on the side of the road, I would want to question who is walking through my neighborhoods. And the simplest way to do it is as a citizen. So he did a citizen stop by simply asking if I needed help. So he was not outside of his means to basically investigate a potential threat inside the area. Well, because I'm not a threat, and I don't carry myself as a threat, he was able to see that I was not a threat. And the best way that you could end up doing it is putting myself in his shoes. Now, I used to work for companies that dealt with developing stuff for law enforcement agencies. This one in particular, I know that one of the last things that the law enforcement agencies do is they look at their rear view mirror, they look at their pictures that sit inside their dashboard or in their visors. And when they do that, that's the last time they may look at their loved ones or their family member or even their pet. So I made sure that I have loved ones too that are concerned about me, and he does too. So listen in to kind of the discussion, even though I was in anxiety.
Good to go, bud.
Thanks.
I'll definitely say something. Thank you.
I appreciate it. So what was the reason for a stop? Just because you were golfing me a ride?
I was just going to check you out, make sure you're all right.
Oh, I appreciate it.
I wasn't sure what was going on. Okay?
Nah, I had I'll give you a wristband as part of our actual walk here. Sorry, this one's part of mine, but it's called AMileAChild.org, Walker for St. Jude's.
Okay.
And you can actually look it up on there.
Okay.
And yeah, so far so good. We've been you know, chugging along and trying to get as much. I tell people if they could put a penny towards each mile,
right,
that's only $27.21. But you know, I'm trying to get people to stop their days of addiction. You know, when I was in the military, I was in the Navy, I was an alcoholic, man.
Okay.
I was probably about your age.
Okay.
And you know, after I did everything I did, you know, I actually worked for law enforcement, man, for the longest time. I worked for Saffron Morpho Track, did a live scan and stuff like that. You probably got L3 stuff inside your stuff, you know. And I had a buddy, we were working on mobile live scan stuff. And I always tell people, like, because, you know, you pulled me over and you didn't have any right to. I know our law very well. And you said you're off me right, which is the awesomest thing ever. But we actually had we were working with Oakley. I used to work for a company called Saffron Morpho Track out in Anaheim Heights. And buddy Tony Mislin, we were always talking about it because I did so many ride-alongs. I had to invent different stuff. I invented the H-grid for facial recognition.
Okay.
And one of the things that I always saw in the ride-along is all my buddies in the ride-alongs, I look at their dash or I look at their thing when they pull it down, and they always had their kids or somebody they fucking cared about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the last time they may see them. And I told those guys, I served in the military, dude. I know what it's like to be in another country where people fucking think you're something different, you know? And they think you're the bad guy. And they ask questions when they don't understand you're here to protect them.
Right.
You know? Some guys are out there to enforce the law. Great. If you're not a lawbreaker, good. I want them to enforce the law.
Right.
But there are guys who are just good guys, man. So thanks for being a good guy. You know, I seriously, I actually had a Officer Fowler. In 2017, I walked across America too. I had a thing called Change Begins With Me.
Good deal.
And that officer is back in Texas, Officer Fowler.
Yep.
So anyway, man, I appreciate it, dude. It's awesome what you're doing. Keep doing it, you know. I tell people all the time when I see them out here, I'm like, you know, you got somebody coming up, give your fucking ID. Why? What do you have it to hide, right?
Exactly.
I'm like, you're not doing anything wrong either. You're doing your damn job, and I appreciate you actually doing that because, you know, I walk through some towns and people don't know. I'll see hypodermic needles along the side of the roads. I see them all the time, man.
Yep.
And the opiate crisis is really bad.
It sucks.
People being stolen off the streets every day, it sucks. So.
Do all we can, that's all we can do.
All right, man, I appreciate it. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you, man.
GoPro, stop recording.
So as I finished coming off of some anxiety and being triggered by being pulled over and singled out when I knew that it was unjust. However, to find out the just cause in the heart of the person is the true intent of what God's message was for me to do. And the Holy Spirit allowed me to understand that and resolve it. So the prophecy was revealed today that I would be confronted with law enforcement. The challenge that I had was not to actually escalate an issue and cause something where an issue wasn't meant to be had. You know, it said in today's verse, let us then approach God's throne of grace with confidence so that we may receive mercy and find grace to help us in our time of need. Well, I think today, my time of need was there, and God also gave me the mercy that I needed to put it inside Officer Fowler's hands to make sure that there was no harm, no foul that was done, you know, pun intended. You know, modern day requires modern day thinking. Racism, it is alive and well because we have races. And as long as we have races, as long as we identify with race, then racism will be abundant. But see, I am of the human race. And my racism is to only be human and to find a way to normalize everybody in human and that is to show love and compassion and empathy for all. This could have went very sideways, as most have in the past. People have been confronted, people have been shot on the street and caught because they have something that is chasing them from yesterday. So as we live in today, hiding from yesterday, hoping to run into tomorrow, but never to run into a yesterday in our tomorrow. So be careful the choices that you make, because God always delivers what you need, and never exactly what you want. But if you set your hearts on what you need, then you're always going to get what you want, and that's with God. I was also able to talk to my brother Tori Baltimore today. He had started his regimen of RSO to help out with some really bad neuropathy he's having with his cancer. And he had reported in to me about his treatment using OG Kush in replace of his two different blood pressure medications he was given by the VA. His results have been phenomenal, as he has also reported that he used to be about 144/92 on his blood pressure medication. And the VA was also giving him Viagra to help with what the side effects are from the blood pressure medication. However, since being off of it for the past month and a half, his blood pressure has been reporting at 132/74, as well as never having to use blood pressure medication. He did start taking a strain of Gorilla Glue that has helped him with his depression and anxiety, and has also increased his vitality, therefore eliminating any use of Viagra or any other ED medication. So the reports are great, it's phenomenal, and most of the stuff has been done via natural resources. After all, everything that we need has been provided here by God, including our cures. Thank you for watching and your continued support. Be sure to check out our website at www.AMileAChild.org and share us on social media. Most importantly, click the donate button to save someone from a day of addiction and help find cures for tomorrow. God bless.